I used to think last day meant something dramatic. Sirens. Goodbyes. A sense of finality, like the universe tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, pay attention. This is important. That's not how it happens. Your last day in a town is usually quiet, ordinary, forgettable, which is exactly how Briar Hollow wanted it. I arrived on a Tuesday. I know that because my phone still worked when I crossed the town line. I remember checking the date, squinting against the sun glare on my windshield, annoyed that my GPS had rerouted me onto some back road without asking. I was on my way to a job interview 2 states over, running late, already rehearsing apologies in my head. The sign came out of nowhere. Welcome to Briar Hollow Pop 1102. Please drive slowly. The paint was fresh. Too fresh for a sign that old. The wood behind it was cracked and warped, but the letters looked like they'd been repainted that morning. I slowed down, more out of habit than courtesy. That's when my GPS went silent. No rerouting. No error message. Just a blank gray screen like it had fallen asleep mid-thought. I tapped it. Nothing. Great, I muttered. The road dipped downward, curving into a shallow valley. Trees crowded close on either side, their branches arching overhead like ribs. Briar Hollow revealed itself slowly, a gas station, a diner, a post office, a handful of houses scattered along a main street that looked like it hadn't changed since the late 80s. And something else. People. They were standing outside. Not walking. Not talking. Just standing. On porches. Near storefronts. The edges of lawns. Watching the road. Watching me. I told myself it was coincidence. A lunch break. A town event I didn't know about. I waved at a couple of them as I passed. No one waved back. The gas gauge dipped below a quarter tank. I sighed, signaled, and pulled into the station. The bell over the door jingled when I stepped inside. Hello? I called. A man appeared from the back room. Early 40s, lean, dark hair combed neatly to the side. His smile was quick and professional, like he'd practiced it in a mirror. Afternoon, he said. Passing through. Yeah, I said. Just need gas. My GPS cut out. That happens, he said easily. Briar Hollow's a bit of a dead spot. He rang me up before I'd even reached the counter. Didn't ask how much. Didn't ask for payment method. How much is it? I asked. On the house, he said. We like to help travelers. Something about that phrase made my shoulders tighten. Thanks, I said anyway. Sighed, I noticed the other thing that was wrong. No cars. Not at the houses. Not parked along the street. Not even at the gas station. Just mine. I filled the tank, forcing myself not to rush, not to look paranoid. When I finished, I glanced at the street again. People were gone. Not gradually. Not dispersing. Gone. Town felt emptier without them, like a stage after the actors had slipped behind the curtain. I got back in my car and tried the GPS again. Nothing. Then I tried my phone. No signal. I swore under my breath and started the engine. The road ahead forked, one path leading deeper into town, the other toward what I assumed was the way out. I chose the way out. 5 minutes later, I passed the Welcome to Briar Hollow sign again. I slowed to a crawl. No, I whispered. I turned around and drove the opposite direction. The sign appeared again. My pulse picked up. I checked my mirrors, my speedometer, the sun's position in the sky. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I pulled over, got out, and walked up to the sign. On the back, carved deep into the wood, were dozens of names. Some crossed out. Some scratched over. Some carved so deeply they'd split the grain. I didn't recognize any of them. I added mine anyway. I don't know why. Maybe I thought it would help. Maybe some instinct told me that if Briar Hollow was keeping track, I needed to be on the list. The knife shook in my hand as I finished. Behind me, someone cleared their throat. I spun around. An older woman stood a few feet away, hands folded neatly in front of her. Her gray hair was pulled into a bun so tight it looked painful. You shouldn't do that, she said gently. Sorry. I was just, names matter here, she said. Come with me. You look tired. I need directions, I said. I'm trying to leave. Her smile faltered for half a second. Of course you are. She introduced herself as Margaret and led me back toward town. I told myself I'd just follow her to a crossroads, get pointed in the right direction, and be gone. But we didn't pass a crossroads. We passed the diner. Post office. The same gas station. You live here? I asked. All my life, she said. How do people get out? She stopped walking, turned to face me. Why would they? She asked. The diner smelled like coffee and old grease. It was warm inside, welcoming in the way only familiar places can be. A man behind the counter poured me a mug without asking. Sit, Margaret said. I sat. Other people filtered in, slowly, casually. They took seats around me, filling the booths. Faces I recognized from earlier. Faces I didn't. A woman across from me smiled too widely. New arrival. I'm not staying, I said. A ripple of discomfort moved through the room. Margaret placed a hand on my arm. Her grip was firmer than I expected. Everyone stays at first. I have an interview, I said weakly. That's nice, she said. The man behind the counter leaned forward. What day do you think it is? Tuesday, I said immediately. He nodded. It was. The room went quiet. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I nearly jumped out of my seat grabbing it. No service, but beneath that, a notification preview flickered briefly before disappearing. Missed call unknown, I need to go, I said, standing. No one stopped me. That was worse. I walked out of the diner, heart pounding, and headed straight for my car. It wasn't there. Parking spot was empty. I spun in a slow circle, chest tightening. Looking for this? A voice asked. A man leaned against my car a few yards away. Late 20s. Clean cut. Friendly. My name's Daniel, he said. I help people settle in. I'm not settling, I snapped. Where did you move my car? Relax, he said. It's safe. I'm calling the police. He laughed. They won't answer. I tried anyway. My phone showed no signal. Daniel's smile softened. It's okay. Everyone panics their first day. First day of what? Being here. I shoved past him and ran. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed distance. I ducked between houses, cut through yards, pushed through hedges. Every path led back to the main street. Every time. By dusk, my legs burned and my lungs ached. I stopped near the edge of town, bent over, hands on my knees. Someone stood nearby. A teenage boy. Maybe 16. Dark circles under his eyes. You shouldn't fight it, he said quietly. You too? I asked. You got stuck? He nodded. 3 years ago. 3? My voice broke. How are you still a kid? He swallowed. You don't change much here. Not unless they let you. Who's they? He glanced toward the center of town. The ones who remember. That night I slept in the school gym. They let me. Gave me a blanket. Turned off the lights. I lay awake listening to footsteps echo in the hallway. The next day, the calendar on the wall still said Tuesday. The next week, it still said Tuesday. People aged strangely. Some didn't age at all. Some aged too fast. I saw a man go gray in a month. I saw a woman who looked exactly the same every time I passed her. I tried to keep track of days. Town did not cooperate. Every attempt to leave ended the same way. Roads looping. Trees thickening. Signs reappearing. I stopped trying after the 4th time I found myself back at the diner, hands shaking, throat raw from screaming. Daniel found me there one evening. You're making it harder on yourself, he said. Acceptance helps. Acceptance of what? That Briar Hollow needs balance. He took me to the old town hall. Showed me the basement. Rows of filing cabinets lined the walls. Each drawer labeled with a year. Inside were folders. Names. Pictures. Notes. Everyone who arrives is recorded, Daniel said. Everyone who leaves is. Adjusted. What does that mean? He opened a folder. Inside was a photo of a woman. Familiar. Too familiar. It was me. Except older. Hollow-eyed. The date on the folder was 5 years in the future. My hands trembled. That's not possible. Daniel closed the drawer. Briar Hollow exists between moments. We borrow time. We recycle it. Recycle people, I whispered. Some stay. Some go, he said. But no one leaves unchanged. That night, Margaret visited me. You're approaching your decision, she said. I don't get a choice, I replied. You always do, she said. You can stay. Or you can go. And if I go? Her eyes softened. Someone else will take your place. I thought of the teenage boy, the tired look in his eyes. Who? I asked. She didn't answer. The next morning, the calendar changed. Wednesday. Town buzzed with quiet excitement. People smiled at me differently. With relief. With gratitude. Daniel found me by the sign at the edge of town. You ready? I don't want this, I said. No one does, he said. At first. He handed me my car keys. My car sat idling behind him. You'll forget most of it, he added. That's the mercy. What happens to Briar Hollow? It keeps going, he said. It always does. I drove. This time the road didn't loop. The sign faded into the distance. My phone buzzed. Signal returned. Messages flooded in. I laughed. I cried. I promised myself I'd tell someone. I didn't. Weeks passed. Life resumed. Until one afternoon, stuck in traffic, I noticed a familiar name on a road sign. Briar Hollow, 2 miles. My hands went numb. The sign hadn't been there before. At a red light, my phone buzzed. Missed call. Unknown. A memory surfaced, a teenage boy's tired eyes. The light turned green. Behind me, horns blared. Ahead of me, the road dipped into a shallow valley. And for the first time since leaving, I understood something Margaret had tried to tell me. Every town has a last day. You just don't always know when it is. And Briar Hollow was finally ready to let me remember.